Okay, great. So I'll be sharing my screen and then we can start. So today we are going to cover four topics today. Uh, One is dialog flow, NLP, how we can set it up. The another one is result variables versus contact variables. And the third one is the new added is split by contact field. And the another functionality which is added that how to identify which keyword triggered the flow. Please interrupt me in between if you have any questions for any of the topic. So I'll start with dialog flow. Um, to give you some background, Google has provided a dialog flow functionality where we can define intents. So currently, the flows how they work is like user respond to a question, and on the basis of a response, the flow respond back on the user's query. But somehow there is a way also, like we can define an intent, and on the basis of intent, dialog flow decides actually what exactly user is asking for, and on the basis of that we can give a response to that user. So it's not that exact match of what user responded, and on the basis of bot replies, but it's intent of a person. We have a document also for this created. If you want, you can refer this one also. So I'll follow up this. So how we can create an intent first. So before integrating in Dialog Flow into Glyphic flows, we create an intent first in the Dialog Flow, and then attach it to the flow so that it works like that. So I'll move forward with the step by step, and if you have any questions, just interrupt me in between. So this is dialog flow where you can define intents. How to define an intent is click on a create intent button, which is here. Right, and then you can name an intent and give all the details or the required things into here. I have already created an intent earlier, and name it is Glyphic demo. So it will be look like this. So after that, you can define the phrases, the intent. Like for Glyphic, I have added a couple of intents like WhatsApp-based bot for NGOs, WhatsApp APIs platform, two-way communications, how to use Glyphic. So all those are the intents defined for Glyphic demo. You can see it here. And if I want, I can add more support for NGOs. So it will be added in the intent. Then means if we are creating a new one, then we have to create save. Click on save to save this intent. Once it gets saved, so this button, if you can see that it turns green and it's done. So intent is saved. After that, we have to train this intent system so that it responds on the basis of the intent. So for training, you can click on settings next to the Glyphic demo intent. From there, you can click on ML settings. This one. Keep all the sections on and click on train. So see, it's working and it says it's done. So agent training started. It says agent training is done. So once it's done, we will click on save. And it says training completed. And again, it turns to save after done. Now we can test it how, if it is saved, then we click on intents. And from there, we'll see what all phrases we have defined here. Suppose I pick this one and I type it here to test. So it says the intent is from Glific demo. So the phrase which we have added is from the Glific demo intent. So that means it is passed. Now we can check the confidence level. The confidence level is how much is the percentage of matching of the content, the text with the content. So we can check it from here if we want, diagnose info, and it will show the details. So if you see, it is added as a two-way communication in the intent, right? Now this part is, the training part is done, intent is defined. Now we will do configuration in Glific. So first of all, we have to add the details. So from settings, we'll go to Dialog Flow, and we will add the default API link, which will be the dialogflowcloud.google.com, the same. And it will have the GOT credentials. Like some of you have already worked on how to create the status integration between GCS and BigQuery. So it is the same GOT credentials, which we get it from Google Cloud Service, and we can add it here. So once that is done, the linkage is done. Now, the third part, we will create a flow which will use Dialog Flow intent. So this is how we create a flow. We'll ask a question, we get that response from user, and this is how we use split by intent, and we use the classifier and what all informations we will be passing through, and then the result. If the result matches, then it will show some details. What is the intent? What is the confidence level? And if it is generic, then it will show a generic response. If it is a failure, then it says no match found for that, right? So this has all the steps how to get the details from GCS and save it there. Okay, I'll quickly execute the flow, and then so these are the variables which is I have used in the flow. So response comes under results dot df dot intent dot response. The confidence levels will be df dot intent dot confidence, and the intent will be df dot intent dot intent. So like this, all these variables I have used in my flow here, and these will be printed when I will be executing that flow. So I will quickly execute that flow. Okay, it's asked me a question. The first one, welcome, send me your intents. I'll say the text I have added, the phrase I have added in the intent, and it says success response, which is result dot intent dot response, which is success. The confidence is 1, that means it matches exactly what information we have passed there, and the intent name, from which intent it is coming. So it is coming from Glific demo. Okay, so I was testing earlier today. So this is how, if the dialog flow is not trained, and somehow if there is any failure, so it says, the message says no match found as a classifier call the default welcome intent, which is if there is no intent defined, then it is this. In the confidence level, it is saying 0.79. And all the details, that what variable means, how to create that dialog flow, how to test it, it's all available in the documentation. So I'll quickly stop here for questions if anybody has.
Hi Mohit, can you share a use case where something like this will be relevant? I'm unable to make the distinction between when we'd use this kind of a flow as opposed to just directing to different flows within Glific itself that we configure, depending upon the option selected by the user.
Okay, so the use case when we worked on this, Divya, the use case was like people does not know exactly what to ask. So whereas the normal flows, where we say that if person response is this, then the communication flow will result will send the result like this. But suppose at the time of COVID, people were not aware that when the schools will be open, or when the lockdown will be over. There were different things which people were not aware, and they do not know what exact question they need to ask. That was the use case. And then those intents was defined, like COVID dates, lockdown over, school open, right? So all those intents were defined in one intent and used in a flow. Now if user types anything from these, the one response, the flow will know that okay, the contact is asking something specific related to this one. Suppose in this case, if I have defined Glific demo, if people are asking about Glific, if they type uh, chatbot for NGOs, or if they type two-way communication, or if they type WhatsApp business API for NGOs. So all those responses will be coming to Glific demo, and from this particular message will be shown. So this is, I have shown that what all information, what are variables, it come, this intent passed to a flow which we can use. But after this, we can, post a message also, anything. Like if, right? So the intent says people is asking something around Glific, and I'm saying, okay, do you want this? So here is the information. So 4 or 5 type of questions sent by contact. Anything from this, the response will be one like this. Is it making sense, Divya?
Slightly more. I'm still not honestly very prudent to where this would be applicable, but I think I'll probably reading up the link that you've shared after this might help. I'm still not able to visualize exactly the use case in which something like this would be used.
Okay. It is
Actually, if I
okay.
can chime in, this is Ranjana. My name is showing up different. But basically, suppose, Divya, if you have a very standard flow with very, very, well formatted options to go through, then you don't need dialog flow. But dialog flow may be needed if, your the variety in your conversation is so large that you feel that, and you want to make it look more like a natural language for the end users, that the end users just write the question the way they would naturally write it to a person, and
Okay.
this agent will then figure out what our intent might be and respond accordingly. So
Okay. So thanks for clarifying that, Ranjana. So would it be appropriate to say that this is usually when there might not be any chat prompts that come up to ask a specific, to expect a specific response, rather it's just a user interacting with the chat with just maybe hi, I need help or something like that.
yes, 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 rather than having a very straight jacketed menu driven flow,
Okay,
you can experiment with some interaction which seems more natural.
got it. And one last point, what does the confidence figure indicate to the user?
It's the level of match with one of the learning training phrases.
Okay,
Like if there's a word to word match, it will be one, otherwise it will be less than one.
okay.
Like yeah, even I haven't used it so much. So Mohit, suppose you have a training phrase called bot for NGOs. What if you key in chatbot for NGOs? Will it figure it out? All of this depends on the intelligence of that the
Dialog flow.
agent.
Yes, yes.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Just one question I had. So I noticed when you're testing the agent in the upper right corner, there's like a microphone option. So is this not just like a chat function so that if they enter like some kind of free text, we try and parse what they are trying to do, but could this also work for the audio? Like if they send a voice message or something, can we parse that?
Yeah, Jacob, I think it seems like you have said, but I have not tested it. I have to check this. I will check that why these microphone and if this accepts audio messages also.
Because it seems like it does, and if so, this could be a very powerful tool, especially in other languages.
Yeah, I will check that. Okay, anybody has any other questions regarding this, or we should move to our next topic? Yeah, Naveli, please tell me.
I had one question, just curious that anyway, a chatbot that we have, we can put multiple flows and make it as customized as possible. So how different this is what you are sharing from the chatbot? Let's say what Stir Education has it from Glific.
So in Stir Education, you're probably asking some question and expecting, number of responses, like maybe 3, 4, 5, right? And if that response matches exactly, then you send another message to a contact, right? But here we are saying that people can ask anything related to that particular topic in different text, different format, or it's not exactly the same phrase. It can be different, right? Like the last example we were saying that we are expecting two-way communication, but somebody has just typed communication. So in that case, it will matches a confidence level that, okay, two-way communication is not exactly matched, but only communication is there. And then on the basis of the confidence level, it will show the relevant response to that person.
Okay, okay, got it.
Yes, Saurabh.
Hello, Mohit. My question is, once we integrate it, so we add the Goth credentials of our GCP, we can use it in existing flows also, na?
Yes, yes. It is the same Goth credentials as one account,
So-
which we have used in GCS. So all BigQuery, this and Dialog Flow and GCS is only one account. The same Goth credential will be used. Once you will create your account in Dialog Flow, you can use it in your existing flows.
Existing also, new as well as existing.
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Devya. Okay. Yes, Navil, you have any question?
No, no, I'm sorry. I just forgot to lower my hand.
So I will move to the next topic, which is result variables and contact variables. This is the old uh, functionality we already have, but I feel that somehow people get confused with the variables. So I thought to take this one again in this session. So if I say flow level variables is the variables which we can use in the same flow, right? So for an example, if I create a flow, sorry. So suppose I will create a flow and I'll say, hello, how are you doing today? And expecting a response from a user. So the variable I have created is feelings. Then I can access it results dot feelings like this. So whatever response I will be getting from user after this question, I can capture it here in this flow and use it as like this, right? So these are the flow level variables. So it is used locally in this particular flow. If a contact goes out from this flow, then this variable will not be accessible, right? If we want any variable to use globally in all the flows, like for all the environments, then we save this variable as a contact variable. Then we use update contact and we create a variable name with which we will be saving. And here we can pass the details of the value which we want to save, like this, right? So till here, this variable is a local variable which is accessible within this flow. But after this, I have created a global variable or a contact variable, which with the name contact feeling. Now I can access this particular value anywhere anywhere in my environment outside this flow also. Like contact fields dot contact. So it should come itself. I don't know, maybe some. Let me try something. I'll save this one and then I'll try again. Not sure what happened, but actually, so these are the contact variables. Can be accessed like this only. I don't know why it's not coming right now. Yeah. So results dot uh, field name is how we access the local variables in the flow, and contact dot fields dot the variable name is how we access the contact variables in a flow. I need to check. See, these all variables are defined earlier, so I'm able to access. I'm able to see this how it will look, but it should also come for contact dot fields. Contact fields. So these are the different variables used differently and have different actions are working in flows. Any questions around this for variables? Okay, no one. So let's move to the next topic, which is split by contact field. So earlier we have split by result field, and then we have split by flow results, and split by collection. Then we added split by custom expression. Split by collection membership. One thing we identified that if a user in a flow wants to access any variable of a result variable, that is a local variable, then it is very easy for users who are drafting flows to add a variable here from a drop down, and they can match what exactly response is coming from users, and on the basis of that they can make a decision like this. But this is all only available for result variables, that is, which are only local to the flows. But somehow we need there are cases where in the flow we want to make a decision on the basis of the information we already have captured earlier, and we want to use it later in the flow. Because split by contact variables was not available, then we were using split by custom expressions, where we need to write a syntax according, you can say, syntax to identify if the user responses is equal to something like this and that, then do this like. And we find that NGO users have some difficulties because the syntax may be sometimes wrong, or there were some issues in those syntax. So we have added split by contact variables. So likewise, contact by results, the split by contact field is working for the variables which are not local to the flows, but which are uh, global. So in this example, we have saved a variable age in some other flow, and here in this uh, split by contact field, we will be, from a drop down we can add uh, we can select a variable called age, and on the basis of the response of a user, if that age is between 1 to 12, then we can call it them kids. If 13 to 19, then teens, and if above, then it adults, like this. So it's more of a convenient. I can quickly show the flow also before we move it to the next session. So this will be looking like this. So you'll ask a question, user will give a response, and on the response, we'll be saving that response into a variable. And on the basis of the user response, we'll take a decision on the contact variable that if it belongs to this, then do this, then do that. And I'll quickly execute that just so. Right. So on the basis of my response, it is, making a decision that, okay, where it should go. Yes, Saurabh, you have a question?
Yeah, Mohit, in this we are saving the value for the contact in this flow only. Would this be, I mean, this is what we would use if I want to say, say I want my users to resume from where they left last. If I have a course, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, those lessons. Say I create a contact variable, current lesson, right? And so that maybe I can use as a background flow. No? Does this fit in well with this use case? So I want I'm saving my where my user last was in a contact variable, and then I want the next time when the user interacts with the chatbot, start or next, whatever he types in, he or she should get back to the last module or lesson or text where they were.
Yes, you're right, Saurabh. It can work. Only two things. You need to define when you will be updating that contact variable. Like, for an example, if I say we have 5 sessions and you have added updating the contact variables in all those 5 flows. Now, next time when user comes, you want to see in which flow from those 5 flows user was in. So all those 5 flows will have that update contact variable. First, you want to identify that where you want to add it, like at the beginning or at the end. That means you want to add that information at the starting of that flow or at the completion of that flow. Second, all the flows, whenever user sends any message, should start from a single flow, right? You can say a new contact flow or a common flow, which will have this split by expression, split by contact field. And whenever user sends a message, it will always check first that, okay, if the value is 1, 2, or 3, or 5. On the basis of that, they'll start that flow.
So one sort of master flow which checks if a user in whatever section he is, they should go there. Otherwise, they should have start another flows if required. Right.
And one more thing, so we will be able to start that flow from the beginning only, right? So we cannot start, suppose user is in flow 2 and it will be user is in middle of flow 2, but next time it will be start from the beginning of flow 2, right? So we cannot start a flow in between.
Yeah.
That makes sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else has any other question? Or otherwise we can move to next topic, which is identify. Okay, this is very interesting use case. We recently, I think last month only, we have a counter. There was an NGO who wants to know that if user has sent any keyword, right? So whatever word they have sent, they want to know that which keyword has actually started their flow. There was a use case they want to identify that what user is responding. Suppose we can have multiple keywords for one flow, right? And if user enter any of the keyword, then that particular flow will start. But somehow, if you want to know out of these keywords, which keyword was user has entered, and they want to use that in a report. Another use case was one NGO was requesting that we want to identify that what is the first message which user has sent when the flow started, and on the basis of that, they want to capture that information and save it for analytics purpose. So we have built this functionality which we called how to identify a keyword, right? So there's give me a second, I'll just, so for this example, there is 4 keywords I have used in this flow: key 1, key 2, key 3, key 4. And in this flow, my internet is a bit slow, I'm sorry. In this flow, we have identified how to get the which keyword was entered. So the syntax for that is flow underscore keyword. Results.flow underscore keyword dot input will give which flow is added. If somehow a keyword is keyword will not have any spaces in between, but if there's a sentence or a bigger sentence which is used to start a flow. That means there's a space in between two words. Then we can use result.flow keywords.category. Right? Yeah, Saurabh, you have any question, or do you want me to execute this flow first and then?
Quick question.
Mhm.
Those are like internal variables, right? We don't have to create them.
Yeah, these are internal variables. You do not have to create. These are internal variables. They will only capture the start of a flow, that which keyword has used, right? And on the basis of that, you can identify in analytics, okay, which keyword was used. Suppose you have said hi, hello, or question lines, for example. So people are typing hi more, or people are typing question lines more. On the basis of that, you can make further decision on your built up communication in flows, that what next you want to do. So I will quickly start a flow with the keywords. So I'll say key 2. Sorry. So it says flow started with key 2, and the category is also same because I have used a one keyword. Now if I'll say key space 3, so it will say the flow is started with keyword K3, but if you want to capture what exactly has entered here, is key space 3, right? So with this you can capture the information a user has entered for starting their flows. Yes, this is it for today's session. These are the topics we wanted to cover this week. Yes, Shweta, you have any question?
Yes, Mohit, because it's saved in a results variable, can we actually perform certain action based on it? Let's say if a user has sent key 1, I want to add, update its contact variable to, something. And key 2, if the user has entered, I want the contact variable's value to be set something else. Is that possible?
Yes. Once you receive the response, on the basis of that, you can always make a next decision, right?
So all the functions would work similarly, like this split
yes.
by.
Yes. All the functions will. So it's after this, once you get a value of a keyword, then on the basis of that, you can just split by expression, split by contract value, anything, and make a decision on from that.
Yeah, that's great, because we are wondering, we are creating school specific registration processes for our flow. So just to identify which school the kid is from, and going to share different keywords to different schools. So yeah, I think this will help us there, like, because our registration process would remain same, but we'll be able to identify which school is the kid from. Yeah, this is really good.
Right. Anybody has any other questions? We still have 5 minutes left. I think Milan team has already left. Actually, they had some questions they posted earlier last week that they want to have this session, but they left. But anybody else have any other question other than these topics? So we can take it now.
I had just one small question. I really like that split feature. I was just only wondering that is it only restricted to the age factor, or we can have it as per our requirement?
You can have it as per your.
So, but how will it even come into count? Let's say for STIR education, we don't really take into account the age factor, but we might want to consider it maybe in terms of gender or stakeholders. So, and how will it even come to the use for the stakeholders who are using it? Will it come in their report format or something?
Yes, Naveli. So these treat it as a variable. Treat it as a variable. So it cannot be age only. So suppose you're saying it's gender, then I can save these as a gender, right? For an example, and identify what is there, right? Suppose for an example. So once I receive this information, and save it, that information in a contact variable, then I can use split by contact field and select that variable from this list, right? So it's not age. If you see, these are the all test variables we have created: channel, language, right? College name. This is an example. See, color. So color is there. So I can say if it is blue, then this. If it is red, then this. If it is green, then this. Like, and you can use it as per your use cases. So it's not only age, it can be any variable which is created, and then make it as a contact variable through update contact.
Okay.
And once it is updated in the contact variable, then you can use it in your reports also, like you have asked, right? For your stakeholders.
Right. Okay.
I hope it was clear, right?
Yes. Thank you.
Anybody else have any question regarding anything in Glific?
With Parul here, I just have a
Hi.
question about timers. In Glific, timer is there?
Yes, we have timers.
Okay,
Okay, please tell me, timer means a
like
gap between two messages, or
yeah. Like in case I'm sending an audio and a text message, and I want the audio to go first and the text later, and at times because of the WhatsApp, it may be the reverse thing. So if I just want to put the timer.
Yes, you can. So there's a node called wait for time. Yeah, I'll just click it. So you can select wait for time and specify the time, like
Can it
suppose
be
1 minute. I'm sorry.
in seconds?
No, not in seconds, because we know we have seen earlier observed that there were 3 systems involved, right? Glific, WhatsApp, and Gupshup. So so it cannot be less than minute. So we actually take within a minute time to receive a message on WhatsApp if we send it from Glific.
Okay, so in case I want in second, is there any solution?
No,
Like
currently it's not, because that milliseconds, the seconds is not, we cannot specify that, okay, this will be delivered in this second only. So it will at least take a minute. Means it can deliver earlier, but we cannot specify a time gap less than a minute.
Okay. Yeah, actually I was looking for less than that, because if it is students, you're sending the audio, you won't wait for 1 minute for the text, like, right? Text comes before, I want the audio to be first, but in 10-15 seconds, the text should be there after the audio. It should not be 1 minute kind of a wait.
Yes, Parul, but that's what I'm saying, that if you do not enter anything, again, it may take 1 minute.
Okay.
Because network is also there, right? People who are using their phone, we are not sure in which network they are. Are they on Wi-Fi or their mobile network?
Okay.
So configuring something less than minute is not actually possible.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mohit. Thank you.
Welcome. Okay, somebody from Mukamar, they left. Okay, they said something. Okay, they left. Okay, if we do not have any other questions, then we can close this session here now and chat to you most of you on Discord again. Let me know if you have any questions.
By the way, Mohit,
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye.
Welcome. Bye.
That
Thank you, Mohit.
Thank you, Mohit.
Thank you. Bye. Thanks for joining.
Thanks, Mohit.
Yes, sir. Thanks, Farooq. Thanks, Naman. Yes, Saurabh, you're saying something.
that issue was sort of resolved. That what I wanted, getting some extra data for our file GCS. So what logo I think pointed out, it has some contact ID.
Mhm.
Based on that, then I can use regex and then find out who the contact is. See other contact variables of that person. I'll be trying that. That may work. GCS पे जो files आ रही थी,
Yes.
है ना, उसके so we were not getting any identifier कि who sent it ना. So I think someone pointed out कि contact
Logo, yeah,
it
Logo
includes,
mentioned that
it
it's
includes contact
contact ID. Yes, yes.
We'll try to go that way and see वैसे अपना काम हो जाए.
Sure, sure. If that works, then let me know. Otherwise,
And-
I have to tell tech team they can make a modification, right? So the files will be saved with the phone number or the contact name, whichever you want, or both. Contact name underscore phone name, like that. So then it will start storing those files in that naming format.
Sure, either of them works. And someone, I think you only pointed out कि अगर कोई PR उसमें डाल सकते हैं तो maybe it will be worked on. So I don't have the Glific वो GitHub URL.
नहीं तो पब्लिक है, मैं बताता हूँ.
बस link share. किस रिपोजिटरी में एग्जैक्टली वो वाला होगा ना, वो शेयर कर देंगे.
देखो मैंने आपको डिस्कॉर्ड पे दिया है, आपको एक्सेस आ रहा है क्या उसमें?
हाँ, Glific.
आप इस पे डाल सकते हैं.
Thank you Mohit.
वेलकम. Anything else?
That's all. Will probably give you some trouble some other time.
No issues, no issues. Yeah, we'll connect again. No issues.
Thank you.
Bye.